Well, I just heard from Amber Lawley. I want to take this time to thank them for sponsoring our shows last week. They called to let me know that my subscribers bought a lot of their CBD lotion. I was really happy to hear that. As their way of saying thank you to my subscribers, they are now offering you this deal. For every 3 items you buy, the 3rd item will be free. That's right. So every time you buy 3 items, the 3rd item is free. Just use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and the 3rd item is free. One thing I've learned about this lotion, not only does it help with joint pain as well as muscle pain, but man, it makes your skin really smooth. So as an added bonus, not only does it help with joint and muscle pain, it also helps out with making your skin very smooth. An added bonus. So go on over there to Amber Lawley, and remember, for every 3 items you buy, the 3rd one is free when you use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y. Go check them out.
Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, it's that time, that Q&A, when I go back and look at your comments and respond to them. Talking about that old article from 2013. Wasn't about how old the article was. It was more about the details in the article. So we're going to cover that here in just a moment because you guys had some good comments, good questions, and good statements. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button because when you do, it helps us get past the algorithm that YouTube puts on us and keeps us from being shadow banned. If you're not a subscriber, please do so because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. The disclaimer here is I'm not a financial advisor, a lawyer, or an accountant. The information that I share with you, I do freely. It is of my own opinion. Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings in their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right. Gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. That's right, head on over to Money Metals when you want to buy gold and silver. Keep in mind, if you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Hey, right now, a special offer for my audiences only. You have a chance to win 100 free American Silver Eagles. That's over $3,000 in value. And all you have to do is enter your email to win. That's it. That's right, there's no obligations to purchase. The link is down below in the description. So head on over there, enter to win. You have between now and December 31st of this year to enter. The only way you can for sure not win 100 silver American Eagles is by not entering at all. So do yourself a favor and enter your email so you have a chance to win. People keep asking me, where is the link, Pimpy? It's real simple. If you're at my page on YouTube and you're watching any of the videos, any of them, you see the video here and you scroll down, see my name right here? If you go here where it says show more and you click it, here's all the links to the things you have access to. If you want to enter into the competition to win 100 free medals, just click it right here and it'll take you to the website where you can sign up. If you want to buy and own physical gold and silver, just click this link right here and it'll take you to the Money Metals website. And if you're thinking about buying cryptocurrencies, just scroll on down until you see the word Coinbase. Click this and it'll take you over to the website that you can sign up for. So you can buy Shiba, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. As everyone is aware of an alternative website, the link is down below in the description. Over here I post original content as well as other videos that have been banned from YouTube. It costs $3 a month to join for unlimited access, and all proceeds go to finding life's purpose. So come on over there and join us. Beware of scammers. That's right. People posing and pretending to be me. How you can tell us apart is real simple. If you post a comment and I respond, you will see a dark circle around my name. See this? It's either gray or black. I won't be sending you to WhatsApp, and I won't be sending you to Telegram or Telegraph or anything like that, nor would I be asking you for money. From time to time, I will be using material that's considered copywritten. I post this just to show that I am exercising my fair use rights. All right, so the other day I released this video, huge Iraqi Dinar rate change news. I've been creating Dinar videos now for a couple years. I've actually watched other people's videos that go back years. I've heard Chapter 7 be mentioned several times by people, but never in detail, which I think is interesting because I brought it up before, but I never went over it in detail myself. I was aware of what some of it did, but not all of it. I knew Iraq was close to being removed out of Chapter 7, and so I wanted to just dig a little bit more into it, and I found that article, and it does kind of sum it up in a nutshell. So it is good news, and we know that Iraq, especially since al-Qademi has been in office, they have taken a lot of positive steps in the right direction. Now, what happens in Iraq affects the dinar, but that does not necessarily mean a change is going to happen. And I say that for a reason, you guys, because already people I could see that I've spoken to, they have already started to spend the money in their head. I keep saying, stop, stop. Look, it's all great news. All these are positive steps in the right direction. But none of us know the date and none of us know the rate. And I know people keep saying they know, but they don't know. They're lying to you. Nobody knows the date and rate. And even though it appears that Iraq is taking all the right steps in the right direction, there could be other unknown reasons why they choose not to change the rate. Now I say that with hesitancy because I don't want you to think that they're not going to. I'm just saying we have no idea. They could do it tomorrow. They could do it in 15 years. We don't know. But I will admit this is some great news. And it does appear, the more I read these articles, the more I do a little bit more digging into what's going on, it does appear like they're poised to return to the rate. I did video a long time ago on Iraqi Dinar showing articles from the United Nations in which they stipulated this. I mean, this could have been more than 4 or 5 years ago. The one article I read and showed everybody that when they spoke to one of the UN members, they just came out and said there's no reason for Iraq not to have the original rate of $3.22 reinstated. They haven't done anything for that rate to change. They should be reinstated at that rate. Now, again, mind you, this thing is a few years old. And I don't know what kind of influence or control that the United Nations is going to have over what the rate is going to be. You see what I'm saying? The person was just responding to something. And but what caught my eye was his response. And it was it's a him. And so I thought, oh, that's really good. But also I've done older videos when I said there's something very strange that I keep noticing. There are two rates that are being monitored. One of the rates is called the realized rate. And they keep talking about it and how they calculated it. Tell you that one of the rates was at the time, whatever the current rate of the exchange was, 1,190 dinars for every dollar. Whenever the gap between the values started to separate too much, to try to do what they can to keep them around the same distance of one another. And I wasn't sure why they were calling one the realized rate and the other one the market rate. And my assumption, listen to what I'm saying, this is my opinion and my assumption on what that realized rate is. I think the realized rate is the rate that the dinar would have been had it not been devalued and put into some type of sanction. And you could go back and see for yourself. Just go watch my videos. They're the older ones. But in there it talks about they're keeping track of the rates. And it says realized rate and current market rate. It's easy to assume that would be the rate had they not been on any type of restrictions. It's easy to assume that. I don't want to make that assumption because I didn't find anything that stated that. And I still believe you're going to see it go up in increments just for the sole purpose of not damaging the economy. That would be a huge shock to the economy to go from a currency that's that devalued and then all of a sudden raising it up that high. That would be a shock. Now, I know people go, well, that's what happened in Kuwait. Yeah, but Kuwait has not been, their currency was not devalued for as long as Iraq's has been. And when it came to rebuilding, they didn't have to do very much at all, not like Iraq. So there are a lot of other factors. And although people like to make the comparison to what happened to Kuwait, you can't. The only thing that's really similar is the fact that their currencies were devalued. And yes, Kuwait had their rate reinstated. But like I said, they did not have their currency devalued for very long before they reinstated it. Not like Iraq. Iraq has had decades go by. That's a huge difference between what happened with Kuwait. Yeah, I was excited to read it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Okay, I was thinking that the Feds were going to meet today, the central banks, because the article that we saw yesterday in the Dinar News stated that Iraq was waiting to hear some really great news from the United States, one that would be very monetarily beneficial for them, if you get my drift. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what that is. But let's go over your comments so I can respond. Info Seeker. Info, just so you know, I saw that email that you sent me. I haven't responded to because somehow, some way, ended up with my inbox got slammed with a bunch of spam, and I don't know why or what I signed up for or how that happened, but there's a lot of emails in there. I've been trying to go through all of them, and I saw yours. I just haven't had time to respond to them. But let's hear what you say here. Like you said, Pimpy, the article was from July of 2013, and it clearly states at the beginning of the article the lifting of Chapter 7 sanctions last month. That is saying that the main part of Chapter 7 was lifted back in 2013, and all talk of how it will help the dinar was back then, and nothing much has happened since then. They were in control of their currency for years. So yes, back in 2013, parts of Chapter 7, I saw another article where it goes on to show you that part of Chapter 7 was they put sanctions on entities as well as individuals. Part of Chapter 7 was lifted back in 2013. They showed you which individuals and which entities had their sanctions removed, and it was only a couple of people. So it wasn't all lifted. Now, the Iraq bank has the right to change the exchange rate. It does, but they are still under certain sanctions that would not allow them to reinstate the rate at the current moment. It goes on to state they still had to pay the debt over to Kuwait. They had to make sure that the money laundering and financing of terrorist issues were resolved. They needed laws that were passed. They wanted to also see actions against those individuals who had violated these laws. And at the time when they first did this, none of the people had been charged. Nobody had been punished for financing terrorists and money laundering. But since then, a lot of people have. As a matter of fact, I think it's well over 200 people. So there are still hurdles there before they can change the rate, in my opinion, of course. If Iraq did not take care of the issue of money laundering and funding of terrorism, then what would be the benefit to the world of having them be rewarded and having a rate change take place, especially if they're financing terrorist groups and their money laundering? It would just be more detrimental to the peace of the world, to be quite honest. I mean, you don't want them funding terrorists. But there's small parts of Chapter 7 that were lifted in 2013, but the sanctions got slapped back on them. That's why you see in the more current articles, it says as soon as Kuwait is paid off and it's validated, they're going to immediately file with the United Nations Secretariat to have them removed out of Chapter 7 altogether. You saw that article. Back in 2013, parts of Chapter 7, they were removed. Not all of it, though. So I see what you're saying, but no, not all of it. They still had a lot of restrictions, and they had a checklist. I remember when I was on the other YouTube channel, we went over this checklist that I'd found that was listed on the government website. There were these steps that had to be completed. And so we went through it to validate which ones had been completed and which ones had not. That was like 2 years ago. I mean, the debt with Kuwait is done. There's still some issues that need to be resolved, but not any issues that will keep them in Chapter 7. Once Kuwait validates that they have received the last bit of their payments, I think it's not going to take very long before you see Iraq be removed out of Chapter 7. Also, keep in mind, they're having to go through the ascension again of the World Trade Organization. So once they're in there, they'll be able to do a lot more on an international scene. Now, they do obviously still have trade going on, but there's a lot of things that there's embargoes against that I did not realize that affects their entire economy. So if all these embargoes are lifted off, plus it gives them an opportunity to strengthen up their military, which is another reason why I think we're going to see Chapter 7 be removed pretty quickly here, is the fact that the United States and the coalition militaries are being removed out of Iraq. So Iraq has to be able to defend themselves. So I think you're going to see the embargo removed. That's going to allow them to buy the weapons necessary to protect themselves from terrorists. So again, that's, you just got to kind of put things in that perspective. But Info Seeker, I hear you. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm trying to feel optimistic because it seems like every time we take, well, I should say this, 2 years ago when I was first talking about the dinar, I used to hate the fact that it looked like Iraq would take 2 steps forward, but 5 steps back, man. I used to hate that. But ever since Al-Kadhimi has been in office, there's no doubt that they've taken a lot of steps in the right direction. So we'll see what happens. Neil Parker, okay, let's see. Well, let's kill this hopium. Today they said this is what they're going to do. They're going to do, I'm guessing. Okay. Al-Kadhimi's advisor rolls out change in the dollar exchange rate in the next budget. On Monday, the financial advisor, Saleh, rolled out proposals to change the dollar exchange rate during the next budget, indicating that the 2022 budget is ready for voting. Saleh said during the press statement that all statements about changing the dollar exchange rate or returning to the previous price are incorrect, indicating that the benefits of raising the dollar price are great and can never be neglected. And talking about changing the exchange rate has become a thing of the past. Yeah, I mean, I saw this article, but that doesn't mean, okay, so again, I'm always hesitant to say certain things because I don't want people to get too overly excited about this. But I remember when Kuwait was talking about changing their rate back. I remember there was a lot of talk about it, just like there is now about Iraq. And they came right out and they put an article going, look, all talks about the rate change happening is false. It is not going to happen for about 3 years. And everybody's like, oh, So 3 years. And 2 days later, they changed the rate. 2 days later. And the reason why you do that is you don't want a bunch of people running over and buying more dinar. If they start feeling like this is really going to happen, then people are going to invest more into the dinar. That doesn't help Iraq out at all. They're not going to tell anybody when they're going to do it. I'm not saying that Saleh doesn't mean what he's saying. I think he does, to be quite honest with you. But I think Saleh's approach on this, as if nothing's changed for Iraq as far as the international community and the United Nations are concerned. You have to keep moving forward as if you're still in Chapter 7. See what I'm saying, Neil? So I think Saleh's approach is, look, until we are definitely out of Chapter 7 and we have the right to really change the exchange rate to where it needs to be as far as reinstated, as far as any kind of embargoes or restrictions are concerned, then I'm just going to keep moving forward as if nothing's changed. So it just could be that he just, one, wants to do something about killing the rumors that are out there, because you don't want that kind of hype. Like I said, you don't want a bunch of people rushing over to buy the dinar, making things harder for when people exchange their currencies. That's one thing. You just, you're trying to kill that dead in its tracks as much as possible. Two, I don't think he wants his own people getting misled and get too hopeful about a rate change, when the fact is there's still a lot of things that need to happen in Iraq before a rate change like that can happen. One is they need to be fully lifted out of Chapter 7. We know this. We need we need all the military out of there. The United States, as well as the coalition, they need to leave. The Iraq sovereignty needs to be reinstated. We definitely know that Iraq needs to get off the blacklist over there from the United Nations, and we know a delegation just went over there recently to talk about that, and I'm waiting to see what they say. So it would not surprise me to see that they finally got removed off this list that the UK has. We need them to complete their ascension through the World Trade Organization. These are just some of the small steps. Now, it sounds like a long list of things to do, but the truth of the matter is, all those things could be done very, very, very quickly. I'm talking about within a very short period of time, week, 2 weeks. So it's not like those things are really hard to do. Outside of the ascension, I think through the World Trade Organization, that will take some time. But for the rest of it, nah, no. I think it's necessary for them to lift Chapter 7. And the reason, again, is what I stated earlier. They're going to need to be able to have the embargoes lifted off of Iraq so they can start arming and building their military back up to protect themselves. So that's one of the things. And that other article said they're waiting for some great news that's going to, financially benefit the Iraqi people. We don't know what that means. So, there's a lot of positive information there. And I will say this, InfoSeeker and Neil, look, I appreciate when you guys do this. I'm not even kidding. Because the truth of the matter is, you guys are right. We have to stay grounded. You know what I mean? We have to stay grounded. So I appreciate when we talk about these things and you guys say, hey, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. You're right. We should do that. You guys just slow down, feel positive about it. We'll keep an eye on it. Iraqi have been suffering under every leader they've had for the last 20 years due to their leadership being so corrupt. Around 45% of them have never known anything but war, violence, and hardship. They deserve a break. Yeah, John, I agree with that. I really do. I said this many times in my videos. Look, as much as I would love to be able to financially benefit from this investment, the truth of the matter is, and I mean this with all my heart, it really kills me to see people like Iraq, the people in Zimbabwe or Africa, the people in Venezuela, the people in Yemen, Libya, these people in Vietnam, their people live in countries. They're the richest countries on the planet, but their people are poor. Their governments are corrupt. And when I tell you that's by design, it's for a reason. You see, we have those globalist people, which the United States is part of, who really benefit from countries being like this. They keep the corrupt people in charge so they can continue to go in there and rape them of the resources. That's sad to say, but it's the truth. So yeah, I would love to see a day when, we get these globalist people out of the way and people could go back to just living a peaceful and prosperous life without that kind of corruption controlling, all these countries. I really do pray for these people, man. I do. I'm wondering what color should I get my zeal. Nice. Skate pack, is that right? Or is that scat pack? My grandkids and family make me happy, and I can't wait to show them some happiness back. If it weren't for you, Pimpy, I would have never known about any of this. For this, I am very grateful. Thanks, Pimpy, for staying level and grounded. But I will be doing a dance. Woohoo! I think we're all going to be doing a dance. I joked one time and I said, there's going to be a day when this rate change finally happens, and you're going to know who holds on to Iraqi Dinar and who doesn't. Because when you're going downtown or through the city, all the people you see dancing all over the streets, smiling, celebrating, you know what I mean? Those are your Iraqi Dinar people. They're skipping on the way to the bank. They're dancing, they're drinking, they're celebrating. I once joked and said, people are going to be so excited, they're going to jump in their car and be sure not to run your kids over or run over Nana and Grandpa because you're too excited not paying attention to the road when you're backing up. Just again, they can make all the announcements they want, but don't get overly excited until you see that balance, without a doubt, is in your bank account. Before then, You have nothing but talk. You have nothing but air. You have nothing until that balance reflects in your bank account. Do you see what I'm saying? And as soon as you get it in your bank account, you guys, don't be silly. Don't be silly. Don't leave it in the bank. You know why. Be careful for a bail-in. It would not surprise me to see these a-holes in our country go ahead and say, do the rate change. Good. Everybody's making their exchanges. Good. The bank accounts are nice and fat. Bam. And then slap us with a bail-in. I'm immediately putting my stuff into gold and silver, the vast majority of it. And then I will put a little into cryptocurrencies. But there's no way in hell I'm keeping my money in a bank, man. I'm just not going to do it. And I appreciate the kind words, and I thank you for taking part. Mr. Carl228, to all, I want to thank Pimpy for always keeping the torch lit for us. Last week, I watched a debilitating YouTube video labeled Why Iraq is Dying, posted in November by another YouTuber. It's a depressing and sobering history, as well as a look at the state of Iraq. As an IQD speculator, I should never have watched it. The real truth is that none of us know. 1 minute it's business as usual, and the next you might get surprised. Bottom line, as mentioned, Iraq sure could use a break. I'm sure you meant use, not you. With war and an experience of total peace. Yeah, I look at, I second that, and I really do pray for the people over there, man. Iraq is one of those places that I want to go to. It's on my bucket list, you know what I mean? There are so many holy sites over there, and Iraq, and I hate to say this, but Iran too. Well, I guess I don't hate to say it. I don't mind saying it, but it would be pretty scary that you want to go over there and really visit the country and see the culture and enjoy the beauty without the fear of any one of those governments snagging you up, falsely accusing you of something and throwing you in jail, or some terrorist swinging by and shooting you or lopping your head off. I don't want it to be that way. You know, I want us to get past that. All the ingredients for success are there for everyone. It just takes enough people seeing and realizing on all sides and then forging forward in peace and agreement. Oh man, I agree with that. I do. I love that. It's a tough sell, I know it, but let's continue and see. Happy holidays to all, and happy holidays right back to you, sir, and I appreciate the kind words. Again, we're trying to stay grounded. We really do. I mean, it's hard sometimes not to get overly excited. I get that. But I learned my lesson. If you guys have been around with me for a while, I did a video when I told you I had an event happen to me when I worked for a company, working for an arbitrational company, in which I worked really hard on this business deal, in which my commission would have been $110 million. The day before we went to go finalize it and sign it and do everything else, we went over the paperwork. The lawyers were there. It was all there. When we were done and we got off the table, my boss walked by with a big smile, shook my hand. He said, "Congratulations. Looks like you're going to be a very rich man." I was jumping around. I was smiling. I had the houses that I wanted in my head. I had the cars, all the traveling I was going to do, you name it. I mean, I couldn't sleep at night. You have no idea all the range of emotions I went through within a 48-hour period. I went from being high on this cloud to my life is about to change forever. We got in there, the lawyers reviewed it again, and then boop. Yeah. You see, the company I worked for thought they'd be sneaky. During the night, the legal team stayed there and they changed some of the wording in the contract and did not run it past the people on the other end. They just thought they could be sneaky, have everybody sign everything without reviewing it again, and that my company would benefit from that extra wording in the contracts. But they were caught, and the deal was killed right there in front of me. Sure, my boss apologized, the legal team apologized, but apologies were not enough. There's no way to describe the feeling you have when you're sitting at a table knowing all they have to do is sign the paperwork that's right in front of you, and you will have $110 million. The money was already in my bank account as far as I can picture it. Of course, it wasn't there. I was ready my day. I had ate breakfast. I was nervous. We sat down. I sat there quietly, which is unusual for me, and just listened to him. And then I could just tell by the demeanor. Oh my God, man, there are no words that I can use to explain to you the amount of hate, anger, hurt, depression I went through all within a short period of time. My boss, I couldn't even go to work for like 2 weeks. He said, I understand. No, you don't understand. You see, he's already rich, so he doesn't understand. The point I'm trying to make is this: there are a lot of positive things happening, but don't start spending your money before it's actually in your account. That's the biggest thing I've learned from that day. Of course, in my mind, there was no reason not to feel that way, but life happens that way sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I said, it wouldn't be surprising to me if our government was like, sure, change the rate. They waited a couple of days after that, paid attention to what's going on in people's bank account, and then turn around and do a bail-in. That's just how sneaky and corrupt our government is. I don't want that to happen, but I'm saying be very, very careful. Boy, I swear, you're taking a little tiny bites of this crow, but you have to swallow it nonetheless. I don't know about what crow. I'm not the person out there pumping hopium. I'm just bringing things to people's attention. You see, I'm one of them YouTubers. Actually, I don't know if any other YouTubers saying this, but I'm the YouTuber that says, hey, I think more likely what we're going to see happen is as the country gets back on its feet, you're going to see the dinar go up in increments. We might not necessarily see an RI or an RV, okay? Although all this information that we're seeing right now seems to point in a direction of a possible RI or RV, it is my feeling still, even after all this, that you're going to see it go up in increments. Now, how big or small those increments are, I don't know. And how long they plan to stretch it out for, I have no idea. But my concern is if they raise the rate too quick, then it might have a negative repercussion on the overall economy. Again, it would shock the economy in a big way. And we don't want that to happen because just as soon as they turn around and change the rate one direction, you start driving down the road before you get to the bank, they might have to change it back. I don't know. All I know is this: we're going to see all the right things are happening the right way. Stay positive, but don't count your chickens before they hatch. Okay? Like I said, you can't, even if they change the rate right now, until they remove the restrictions over here in the United States, we can't even exchange it. Now, some of us live around foreign exchange locations. Like if you have an international bank, like in San Francisco, California, inside the airport, they have currency exchanges there. But if you're going to walk in with like, $6 or $7 million in exchange value for the dinar, I'm not so sure they're going to have it in the back there, if you get my drift. We're going to have to wait for them to go ahead and tell the banks it's okay to start buying and selling the Iraqi dinar, but also be prepared for some pretty large deposits. Now, I told everybody that my experience was I went to go talk to my bank manager, and it's Wells Fargo. And I said to him, hey, let's sit down and have this talk. And he said, okay, I'm aware of what you're talking about. He's aware about the dinar. But he said, I'm just going to explain it to you. This is what the process is. But first, I have to start off by telling you, we don't buy or sell Iraqi dinar at the moment. It's restricted. I said, okay, no problem. He says, but let's say those restrictions are removed. And all of a sudden, we can start buying and selling the Iraqi dinar again. And the rate change happens. I said, okay. He says, you would come in here and get my attention, the bank manager's attention. You will let me know that you're here to make your exchange happen. I said, okay. We'll take the dinars, we'll count them, we'll validate that they're real, look at whatever the exchange rate is for the day, come back and let you know. There's a 1% fee, I think he says, to exchange the currency. No problem. He says, but if you think we're going to give you all that money at one time, you're sadly mistaken. I said, okay. He said, what would happen? You can have a small percentage of it. I said, yeah. He goes, the rest would have to go into your bank account. Why? Because banks don't carry that kind of money. A lot of banks don't hold on to large amounts of money. So if you're in there saying, hey, I'd like $20 million today, they're going to go like, no. What's going to happen is you're going to deposit this into your account. Then we're going to set an appointment and they'll order the money for you. So if you want 10 million, they're going to have to order 10 million for you on your behalf. The money will come in a Brinks truck. They'll have it there. You'll show up and they'll go, there's your 10 million. So you have to order the money. The odds are it's most likely not going to be in your account. Just depends on how much you have. Okay. So just keep that in mind. What's going on, brother? Silver isn't really moving, and the market just opened up a very short time ago. Is this a calm before the explosion in price? A lot of us think that. Again, during the holidays, this is not unusual for gold, silver, nor cryptos for that matter. I showed you people graphs showing you that usually by the end of summer, we start getting into the holiday months or into the fall season. You'll see these assets like gold and silver and cryptos. And yes, I realize there are some exceptions. Generally speaking, there is a trend. So summertime, it's really good. Going into the holiday months or the fall season, you will see a drop in value for gold, silver, as well as cryptos. But then sometime around the end of November through the end of December, sometime in that time frame, you'll start to see them take off again. So we're already halfway through December, and I told everybody that I'm going to do a review of this video so you can see them. Somebody whipped out some charts. He spotted a trend in cryptos that was very unique, but he felt more than confident that we would see such an explosion before the end of the year, this year here, in Bitcoin, that he's anticipating Bitcoin jumping up to around 100,000 before the end of the month. Now keep in mind, currently right now, Bitcoin's dropping. As a matter of fact, let's just take a quick peek. So gold, it's down $16, but it's really been staying somewhere between the 1770 and the well, let me put it this way, between 1780 and 1760. It bounces around in there. Hasn't done a lot of moving up or down. You look over in silver, it's now below $22. They've really been trying to smash that sucker down, but it's not going up very fast or down very fast, but they managed to get it down below 22. But you look at Bitcoin, look at it, it's now at 47,000. Although it's up $328, it's still way off the mark of where it was. Look at this. The 52-week range. So at the low side, it was $19,079. But I don't know about you guys. I missed this day. I missed the day when it set a record. And this became 869,937,770,000. That was the high point for Bitcoin. I missed that one. And for Ethereum, you can see right here, Ethereum is at the range of 479 billion, 115 million. What are these prices? Don't be surprised. I'm not even kidding you. Don't be surprised if somebody doesn't jump up and say something like, "Oh, they released what the real values are." Watch, because people do that kind of crap. So obviously there's some kind of glitch in the system, because right now people see this, their mind is being blown away. Okay, so that's a glitch, by the way. So yeah, the fact that Bitcoin is around 47,000, I still say, remember everybody, we got futures contracts showing Bitcoin at between 22 and 24,000. So we'll see who's right. The short contracts weren't from the United States. Futures contracts were from the Canadian side. They were already able to sell futures contracts before we were, and they had Bitcoin pegged at $22,000 and $24,000. Now, what kind of influence Canada has on us, I have no idea, but we'll find out real quick. We're already on the 14th. There's 17 days left. Hi, Pimpy. I'm in. Is that Maritos? I think I'm saying it right. Which is the best site to buy some dinar and get it shipped safe? I can only tell you where I bought it from. I bought it from Exchange of America is where I bought mine from. I can't speak about any other platforms right now. Exchange of America is where I got mine from. And I didn't have any, problems. If people want to leave in a comment so Sebastian could see where's a good place, if you guys want to recommend them. I know there's Safe Dinars out there, Exchange of America. I don't know about all the other sites, because once I find a site that I can trust, then I just usually stick with it. You know what I mean? So, and that's been Exchange of America. Don't buy anything off of eBay. There's something that concerns me about that. A lot of fake stuff come over there. Would really like to hear news like this for the VND, the Vietnam Dong. Yeah, same here, because, I think people are shocked to find out how much dinar and how much Vietnam Dong I actually have. I know there's people out there that have ridiculous amounts of both. I can tell you right now, I have about 5 million dinars and about 4 million Vietnam Dong. Seeing all the horrific casualties of what USA government has caused around the world, money of any amount will not bring back loved ones. Grateful for this to end. No war ever to return. They deserve the blessings that are coming. Marlo, I agree. 100% on that. I used to be one of these people that believed that our governments were going out there doing good. You know what I mean? They're the good people. And it's just maybe that was the case decades ago, but there's no doubt that over the last 40 years or so, most likely longer, they weren't the knight in shining armor that people think they are. I love my country. I still think it's the greatest country in the world. We just have a really, really evil, bad government. I really gave up, but that would be nice. Yeah, look, I know a lot of people gave up. I know a lot of people were discouraged. That's why I tell you guys, look, stop looking at this every day. It's going to drive you insane. It's like looking at the values of gold, silver, and cryptos you're looking at every day. If you have a bad heart, you don't want to invest in the cryptocurrencies because it will give you a heart attack. So just kind of put it to the side. Trust me, you'll know. It'll spread like wildfire. I think you're due Charlie Ward an apology because he said something along the lines of what you're saying on one of those articles. He said it in one of his earlier podcasts. I don't owe Charlie nothing. Charlie, like I said, Charlie's one of those people. It's not any different than Jeff, you know. They keep saying every day that the rate is going to change. Well, if I did that, I would be right sooner or later. Isn't that correct? If I keep saying to you every day, I heard tomorrow the rate change is going to happen, and I keep saying it every single day, and then all of a sudden it happens, then I could go, see, I was right. I said it was going to happen tomorrow, and sure enough, it did. But what about the other 20,647 times that you said it was going to happen and it never did happen? Charlie's guilty of saying dates and rates a million different times and it never happened. Apology, wrong, do Charlie. Is it effing fraud? You're a shill, is that right? Good look. Go look at Charlie's video with Pimpy and listen to what he's saying. Look, man, he just vaguely talks stuff. You know, the sad part is this, because Charlie actually has, there's no secret. I mean, me and Charlie have mutual friends, but here's the thing. Charlie had, you notice I said had, the connections to find out what was really going on with the dinar, but he burned the bridges, and so he hasn't had that kind of connection in years. So I would call Charlie up myself and say, Charlie, come on, I know you know. But then I would call our mutual friends and they go, no, he doesn't know no more. Those ties are gone. And I was like, oh man. So it's kind of pissy to find that out. So no, he doesn't know. He's lying. There is two people out there, and I've heard from them. They have a spreadsheet. I'm not even kidding. They have a spreadsheet of everything that Charlie's ever said with dates and the comments. And they monitor his videos. And they could go through and tell you how many different times he has posted the dates and the rates and said when it was going to happen. How many times he told you that you were going to see JFK Jr. and it's never happened. How many times he said that Trump was going to be in office and it never happened. I was like, you guys are really, really bored and need to get a life. Why would you pay attention that closely? I think it's just entertaining for them. But, you know, anybody with half a sense can listen to them. And no, it's just bullshit, you guys. Look, I get it. I know you, a lot of you people out there like Charlie. Charlie's a personable person. You know, he's a nice guy. But what he's doing in this arena, I think is just yeah, it's not good. You know. But to each his own. Go ahead, let Charlie be Charlie. I'm not gonna go around telling other YouTubers what they can and can't do. That's their business. But if you support Charlie, hey, more power to you. Like I tell people, don't just listen to my channel. Go listen to everybody else's. You should go out there and listen to what a lot of people have to say. This way, then you learn to sift through what is BS and what is not. Unfortunately, right now, a lot more of it is in the BS section. That's why I say stay grounded. That is good news. It is. It definitely is. We're going to find out soon. Thank you, Pimpy, for always keeping us informed. No problem. I appreciate you being aboard. Pimpy, you're the man. God bless. No, no, no. You people, you're the man and you're the woman. And I appreciate you. You obviously don't know what you're talking about. It won't RV like you think it will. Well, okay, that's you're not listening to my videos. That's how you could tell. Hey, Pimpy, do you think back when they first lifted Chapter 7, that when they first RV back then, I know they did change the rate a few years back, but didn't change the back. So I'm thinking that was the reason. Okay, so I know what you're talking about in my element. Yeah, remember I did a video showing the BFI report. Remember that? And in the BFI report, it's released every year and it tells you what. So the BFI is an organization that analyzes each country and breaks down their economies, their political their political status, what's going on in the country, security, and it also talks about the value, the true values of their currency. And I've used them before to show you guys where they have the Iraqi dinar pegged at, and that's just their opinion. But I think it was in 2013 they did change the rate. They pushed it all the way up to, I think it was $1.12 at the time. The people got arrested, just so you know, because what happened was the government of Iraq, which should not have any kind of control of the rate change, that is strictly and solely for the Central Bank of Iraq. The government is separate autonomies. But the government, let me see if I can word this the right way, strongly influenced is a good way, threatening the guy's life. So they strongly influenced the rate change. And although I think it was Dr. Shabibi at the time, refused, I might be wrong, I'm only guessing, but I think he refused to do it and ended up compromising. They wanted it reinstated back to the old rate of $3.22. He went ahead and raised it up to $1.12 because for the same reason I'm stating, and that is he was concerned that if you raised it too high, it would really hurt the economy. He raised it up, it hit like $1.12 a day or two is what it was, and they got shut down real quick. And it wasn't by the Iraq government, and it wasn't by the central bank. The United Nations went in there, and so did the International Monetary Fund, along with the World Bank and the United States, going, "What are you doing? Really, what are you doing? We did not give you permission." So that got shut down really quick. But as part of that BFI report, if you go back to my videos, I cover the BFI report, and they tell you the history, what happened. So it was an illegal rate change that took place, and people did go to jail over that because they were not supposed to raise it up that much, which goes back to what I was saying. Even though some parts of Chapter 7 were lifted and they were officially removed out of Chapter 7, there still was some lingering restrictions. A change in the rate like they did was a no-no, and they got major trouble for that. They will render our red 25 notes obsolete. So I don't know why they would render them obsolete. You're talking about the $25,000 notes. What I've read so far is the 100,000 and is it the 50,000 Iraqi dinars they'll take out of circulation with the public, and they're just going to use them for inter office or interbank transfers. So it's just going to be officially for bank use. But I know that's what they plan to do. The rest of the notes will be used. So the 25,000 will still be there. I saw the article and I covered it, that the $150,000 notes will be used for interbank business only. For some reason, I want to say that the 25,000 was included on there. See it being included. So I think that's what it is. The 150 and 25,000 notes are going to be used for bank transfers only and nothing else. It's going to be taken out of the public. Can you buy any dinar? Meaning, does it matter which year, or can you only redeem certain dinar dollars? Okay, so back in 2003, they gave everybody 90 days to swap your old dinar, the Swiss dinars, and the ones with Saddam Hussein's face on there for the new dinars, the ones that we're using right now. If you have the old dinar, or you bought the old dinar with Saddam Hussein's face on there, those are no longer any good. You have to have the new dinars. That's from 2003 to current. That's the ones you see mostly pictures of. Intel starts, okay. People complaining about my little commercials, but it's not just commercials. There's information in there I share with you guys. One of them is don't get ripped off by these frauds that post and pretend like they're me. That's down there. So just be careful with that. The disclaimer, and then of course, if you guys want to win 100 free ounces of silver, I mean, what the heck do you have to lose? It's free to enter. So I tell everybody, because people go, where do I go for that website? And even though I say the link's down below in the description, a lot of people don't know what that means. Please shorten your introduction. It's close to 6 minutes. I appreciate that. All that information on that beginning are the questions that people ask over and over. So I just put it all in one video so you guys can see it. Just skip past it, but there is a lot of information on there that people do need to see. So it's important that it's there. I know you guys don't like it. And by the way, thank you guys for the Amber Lolly thing. There was a great response to it. And so they are giving you guys a deal. Now I get Amber Lolly, the CBD oil for free. They'll send me some every now and then. So it's pretty cool. I dig it. Pimpy, how do I go about canceling my subscription? Email me your email, and then I'll go on. I can look you up and then just remove you out of the system. If you're on Facebook, just email me or PM me your email. Or if you're on Twitter, just PM me your email, and I could go through there and check in the system. I'll be excited when going to the bank. There's always something. Also, quit promoting other stuff. I subscribe to your channel, not others. Yeah, well, I am promoting stuff because a lot of those people, when the channel is demonetized, were nice enough to come through and sponsor the channels. You guys have no clue how many people want to sponsor my channel. If I put them all on there, it'd just be 2 hours of commercials. So no, I don't go aboard with everybody. I'm really picky about who I do business with. I've had another company offer me $200,000 a year to push their product, but I don't use the product, so I said no. I just, again, it's not about the money. I know people out there go, boy, yeah, no, I'm serious. I'll tell you again. XRP approached me. XRP wanted me to promote their XRP community. The payment was going to be 250 XRP per week. No, thank you. I don't support anything New World Order. I know that drives somebody crazy. That's why I say that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of XRP. So, if Ethereum came over, well, now we could talk. Any news on the Vietnam Dong? Anytime it comes along, I will make a video. Kathy, just so you know, I did a recent video that Vietnam is back on the currency manipulation report, and they're labeled a currency manipulator once again. But we got the wrong president in there. That president is not going to do anything to enforce it. They put Vietnam in timeout, but you know how well timeout worked, but they put him in timeout, but did nothing else. Michael Hamilton, what do you say here? 82 billion more dinar in circulation would weaken the dinar in relations to the United States dollar. If the restrictions are moved in whatever bank you're at or whatever bank you go to that allows you to do the swap, your business will be between you and that bank. That's as far as what happens for you. As far as the currency is concerned, that's between the bank and whatever other intermediates that are there to handle this. It won't go straight into the public. That amount won't be in circulation. The only amount that will be in circulation is what they release. And when I mean they release, that's Iraq once it is shipped to them from this country. Okay, Pimpy, when is it really going to happen? Do you know how long they've been talking about this? For a long time. And it's time to put up or shut up. Where is the dinar? When can we exchange the dinar? Every time I look up, the value is, it's down low. It's a good question. Trust me, nobody knows except for the people who are actually going to make the call. And those people out there, there's other YouTubers claiming that they know the date and the rate. I can't stress this enough. They're lying to you. That would be insider trading. That's against the law. Do you understand why? I've explained this before. If somebody really knew the date and the rate, they can really upset the balance by going around and letting other people know. You would see this mad rush over to buy the Iraqi Dinar. And that would really hurt when you have to exchange it back. They're not going to tell anybody when it's going to happen. And I told you earlier in the story about Kuwait, they told everybody it was going to happen for like 3 years. 2 days later, they did it. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but what I'm saying is they're not going to tell people. As a matter of fact, I think if I remember correctly, the law over in Iraq is if you leak out the date and the rate and you get caught, that's a death penalty because it affects the country. So nobody knows the date, nobody knows the rate, except for that one or two individuals. When it's time, they know, and when they make the change happen, they'll do it all at one time. And it's not like they're going to go around and announce it ahead of time because they don't want a bunch of people rushing over to buy the dinar. You'll just wake up one day and somebody will go, wait, is this a glitch? Why does the rate change happen? Some news people pick it up and they'll start reporting it, and then boom, it's going to spread like fire. They're not going to come out and go, hey, everybody, we're going to make the rate change happen tomorrow. Just thought I'll let you know. No. As a matter of fact, when they change it, they're not going to announce it. You'll just wake up and boom, it's done. Okay? So anyways, you guys, I don't want to go too long. I want to take this time to say thank you for leaving the comments. I haven't done this in a while, and I want to start doing this again. So I hope that answers some questions. I understand where a lot of you are coming from, and don't be afraid to, ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And like I said before, people like InfoSeeker and Neil here, I don't think they're trying to purposely be negative. They might be. No, just kidding. No, what they're saying is, hey, this might be another way to look at things, or we should be cautious. If you're trying to be one of them people who are trying to figure out when this is going to happen, well, this might be additional information that you haven't thought about. So I don't mind it being shared with the group. As a matter of fact, sometimes something's brought up and I go, oh my God, I forgot about that myself. Chapter 7 was lifted back in 2013. For whatever reason, it either wasn't fully lifted or they got put back into Chapter 7. We know this because we saw a recent article, and I reported about it on this video, in which they said, as soon as Kuwait's paid off, and it's been validated, and everybody confirms it, they're immediately going to fill out the proper paperwork with the United Nations Secretariat to officially have them totally removed out of Chapter 7. The article that I pointed out shows you what happens to Iraq once they are fully lifted out of Chapter 7. So we'll just stay positive. We'll see what happens. All right. I hope that helps you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.